All right, so let's talk about some news of the day. Before we get started, though, you haven't seen me in a long time. I know this message sounds a little repetitious if you're one of my subscribers, but I've been pretty busy with work. I just happen to work in the film and TV industry, and yeah, I haven't been around, but I'm back. Let's talk about hockey. The Winnipeg Jets have just re-signed Joshua Morrissey, a left shot defenseman, age 24, 6 foot, 195 pounds, from Calgary, Alberta, initially to an 8-year deal worth an annual average value of $6.25 million. Now, this guy was he's playing top pairing minutes for the Jets. 22 minutes and 24 seconds is his average ice time in a sort of shutdown role for them. This is a great deal at right around a nice number. He doesn't quite have the big points yet. Last season he had 31. The season before that 26. But he's gravitating up there. Not only that, but he's never been a minus player in his career so far, and that's playing up against the other team's top pairing offenseman. So you kind of have to look at it that way. And at this trajectory, maybe he's got a 35 to 40 point ceiling around that. So although the points don't necessarily match the salary, just his overall defensive play kind of brings that up to par, so to speak. Now, the Jets' issue, of course, now is Kyle Connor and Patrick Laine, and that's with only how much left? Just under $15.5 million left in cap space for Kyle Connor and Patrick Laine. Laine being 21, Kyle Connor being 22 years old. You got to think at least one or maybe even both of these guys got to sign bridge deals. Depending on which one you're talking about, they're scoring upwards between 24 and 44 goals a season. They're both pretty, important to the franchise, but maybe, and I'm just throwing this out there, maybe one of them gets traded for a top pairing defenseman, possibly, or maybe a second pairing defenseman and a high draft pick. Seeing as how money might be an issue for them, and the way Cheveldayoff takes about his business. The kind of ask from Laine, at least that we know, seems to be pretty high. So yeah, but moving on, the San Jose Sharks have made Logan Couture captain. So I'm sure Shark fans are pretty happy about that. I'd love to hear your opinion on this, obviously, but it seems to be well deserved. He's been there for quite a long time. He's amongst the top 6 when it comes to points and games played and so on and so forth. Not only that, but the alternate captains have also been named, and that's going to be Brent Burns, Eric Carlson, Joe Thornton, and Thomas Hertl. Seems to be a good group there. Next up, let's talk briefly about the Philadelphia Flyers, because this isn't really news, but it seems that the Philadelphia is close to a deal with defenseman Ivan Provorov, who has been a real stud for them. The left shot defenseman is been playing upwards of 25 minutes average ice time a night. That's obviously top pairing minutes, and I want to say top 10 in the league when it comes to ice time as well. And then on the other side of the coin, the bad news is they don't seem to be close to signing Konecny, who plays both wings, who has been quite valuable for them. But we'll see where that goes. I mean, Konecny is only 22 years old. Obviously, he's an RFA. He scored 24 goals in the last 2 seasons, and has gotten 47 and 49 points respectively. So he's on an upward trajectory there. And although he was a -4 last year, he was a +17 the year before. And really, the whole Philadelphia Flyers team was a minus. They just had a very porous defensive effort last season. up until at least Carter Hart came into the picture, and now with the new coach, we'll see how that goes. But Philly finally has a steady goaltender, and maybe they can turn that D around as well. Moving along here, the Vegas Golden Knights. A little bit of news on this end. It's come out that Shea Theodore had testicular cancer, which was discovered back in May during the international championships there. He's fine now, apparently, and it doesn't look like he's going to miss any time. Apparently he's in training camp. We'll see how that progresses. He's obviously Vegas's top pairing defenseman, and he's going to be an important piece for them moving forward, be it the regular season or the playoffs. They really can't afford to lose that guy to anything. Hopefully his treatment has been successful and will stay that way. Next up, the New York Rangers have signed, is it Brendan Lemieux? Who used to play, of course, for the Winnipeg Jets. Bing! He plays both wings, so he's ambidextrous that way. They signed him for a 1-year deal for $925,000. Not bad. He's 23 years old, 6'1", thick, 215 pounds at that. Now, the last season, what kind of points did he have here? He had 12 goals, and he had 17 points. He was a -4 with the Rangers, a +10 with the Jets. The Rangers did improve their defense, though, obviously. So we'll see how that goes. He's going to play, bottom 6 minutes, and maybe even be a plug on that fourth line. We'll see what happens there, but that's a pretty cheap signing, no risk, 1 year. Good for everybody. The last bit I wanted to go over here was the whole Mitch Marner saga. Just because I haven't been doing any videos lately, I just wanted to touch on this very briefly. Because Kyle Dubas, the Leafs general manager, and Mike Babcock, their coach, had a little media session today, and they talked about a number of things. The takeaway from all that, from Dubas' standpoint, was he said he was the last time he was going to talk about Mitch Marner until contract was signed or something happened either way, because he just didn't want to keep feeding the media story. It would be good for media, really, but not good for the contract negotiations. So he said, okay, what do you want to ask? Because this is going to be it. You're not going to hear from me again about this. And he didn't really give us any new news on anything, but it looks like they're at a stalemate right now. Obviously, a little while ago, we heard about what the Leafs had offered back in June, which is was it $11 million or 7 or 8 years, and he turned that down. I gotta say, from the social media and what I hear from my other hockey folks, the fans are really starting to turn on him in Toronto. Just calling him straight out greedy, and I think it's more hate. It has to do. Hate is directed at his agent. Was it Paul? Well, and his dad, to a certain extent, Paul Marner, and his agent Ferris. Their publicity tour has really gone backwards on these guys. But either way, I can't believe the Leafs even offered him that kind of money, even if it was for 7 or 8 years. I don't see this guy being worth more than Kucherov. I don't care if he was signed last year or the year before that. That's just disgusting money. There's no way. He's a great player. I put him right around Antti Panarin, but Panarin got what, 10 point something million dollars. You could say he even took a little bit of a pay cut as a UFA, but hey, Marner's not a UFA. He's an RFA, and he hasn't won anything yet. And he played with John Tavares last season. So remember, John Tavares' point total did go up by, I want to say, about 4 points by playing with Marner. Marner's went up substantially more than that by playing with Tavares. But anyways, Mike Babcock, he was asked about his relationship with Austin Matthews, his relationship with Kyle Dubas. Was he going to do anything different this year? Basically, he skirted and danced around all those questions. He never really answered anything, especially about Game 7 against the Boston Bruins, where he, instead of putting, Austin Matthews out on the ice in the dying minutes, he threw out Patrick Marleau, who was having an awful season all around, really, or at least not up to his standards. So, he just sort of did a little ballet around all of that. And we didn't get any real answers, but the big take was that he was excited how there were going to be a lot of players fighting for positions on this team because, of course, Zach Hyman's going to be out for a little while going in. That's one winger who's missing. There's Marner who's going to be missing, may be missing for a few games. We'll see what happens there. And then, of course, their left shot defenseman, Travis Dermott's going to be missing for a couple months there, maybe up until November-ish. We'll see, maybe more. But he was playing the right side defense for a while towards the end of last season, I want to say. In any case, the bottom pair is totally up for grabs. We'll see if some of the guys like Ben Harper steps up, or some of the guys they already have in Marcinin and Hall. God, please don't put Marcinin on the team. And then, of course, there's their two big prospects in Sandin and Liljegren. Maybe one of those guys, Liljegren being the right shot, Sandin being the left, to see if one of those guys can grab onto a position in the bottom pairing. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you so much for watching. As always, sorry I've been away for so long. And please don't forget to like and subscribe. Help the channel out. I've been doing this for almost a year now. In October, mid-October, it'll be a year. Thank you so much to my subscribers who have been with me so far until then. And yeah, I will see you soon.